So we're here with Patrick, guy after my own heart. Check out these hands, man. Look at that. And this guy figured out all of Dodge's problems. So one main one anyway. What's special about it?
Got rid of the automatic, put a 6-speed Eaton Fuller.
Perfect. We got a perfect track. Let's check it out. Okay, so there's a few things that probably are a little questionable, but you're too busy to work on your own truck, right? Yeah. That's what I go by. Is like my truck's not great because I'm working on other people's stuff. I don't have time to work on mine.
You got to keep everybody else's up to par, right?
Yeah. When you come home, you don't feel like actually putting a overflow tank or whatever in there, and that's perfectly fine. That works.
It's the mechanic's way.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah. Still drives.
I think you took that right out of Slave Lake. No, Slave Lake wouldn't have a catch can. Who are we joking?
It'd be in the cab.
It'd be in the cab, yeah.
The clutch pedal. That looks like Princess Auto PTO cable.
Yeah, nice. That's it.
But you made your own bracket?
Yeah, welded up. So there's a little cover. So with the automatic trucks, they just have a cover for where the master cylinder is supposed to sitting.
Yep.
So I took that cover off, just cut a hole in it, and then made a bracket that fit around that cover. Bolted it back in place. There you go. Everything inside the cab, I bought it from the dealer, and it was about 120 bucks.
Nice. Sucks letting other people drive your truck.
You can start in second, even third gear.
6 speeds and no overdrive.
No. Until I get overdrive, I'm just gonna say that overdrive is for girls. So.
But what kind of mileage do you get?
I would guessing I'd say I'm probably around 20 miles to the gallon.
Yeah, because I'm doing 100 supposedly.
Yeah.
And I'm at $2,000, which is not bad.
No.
How long have you had the truck?
Truck I've had it 2 years. Ran it for a year with the auto.
Yeah.
Got tired of it. Well, basically the transmission left me stranded like once or twice too many, and so then I just thought, you know what, I'm gonna put the truck down and then swap out the manuals. So it took me about 4 or 5 months working full time, plus side work, plus working on the truck to get it going. So there was a couple of little clearance issues here and there, but with such a big transmission, I almost expected it.
Right.
So I was originally going to put a 10-speed in it, but then I thought, oh geez, then I got to deal with air and everything. So it that idea just kind of went out the window.
6 is plenty.
Yeah.
It's a lot of shifting.
Yeah.
Like you're just finding gears.
And I start in second anyways, so I only use 5 of them. Like 5 of them and no overdrive. So what do you need 10 for?
So knowing you have a 6, would you recommend a 10 to somebody who pulls all day every day?
I still even then, like the amount of weight that you would be moving with these things, the only time when I would see a 10-speed necessary is if you're running stock tuning, so like just 300 horse stock Cummins. If you're running that and you're doing a lot of heavy towing, that's probably the only time I would think that you would actually even need or should ever consider a 10-speed. Yeah, it's just too much trouble for what it's worth, really.
Yeah, because you'd have to run either an air compressor, like a fan-driven one, or an electric one. But then if that ever lets you down, you're stuck too.
Yeah, you're stuck in high or low range, one of the two, right?
Right. That's first.
Here, let's clutch in, and so go over 1. That's first, and then there's reverse.
Okay. Oh, I see. Yeah.
And you can start in second even.
Right. Okay.
Because second gear, you let it out nice and slow, no throttle. It just crawls away. Yeah.
That clutch pedal's so loose. It's not loose, it's so light compared to my truck.
It's not even there.
Yeah, because you want to let the clutch out, but you're like, whoop, like yeah. I love it though. Once you get used to it.
Yeah. It's nice and smooth. Like I can drive this truck all day long, and I'm like not like my leg's not tired. Like so, and that was also one thing that I thought of was when I put this transmission in, I was thinking, okay, you know what? If I'm gonna have the 6-speed, because the 6 speeds are synchronized.
Yep.
I want to have a light clutch, because I drive the thing so much, and with a synchronized transmission, it just shifts faster if you use the clutch.
Yeah.
You can shift it without the clutch, but you know, sometimes it'll grind or bang or slam into gear, right?
Okay. So where's the clutch out of? Is it Dodge clutch or is it Eaton?
The clutch is actually a Freightliner clutch.
Okay.
Well, so yeah, technically Eaton. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, it's a 14-inch single disc Eaton Fuller. It's a 5.9 Cummins flywheel, but it's a industrial flywheel. So like it came off of a medium duty 5.9.
Right, and that's the nice thing about Cummins is they
swap and
so
save.
like a Ford F800, something like that.
Yeah. If it's got a 5.9 in it, that flywheel will probably bolt right up to this one. Yeah.
Right.
Oh come on! Don't tell me you're gonna have to back up.
Nope. Look at that.
Look at
rubbing.
Look at you go, eh?
Watch me ride this one.
Yeah. Wow. Rips the sidewall right off my tire. I think a 13-inch clutch is like an upgraded clutch for the 5.9s.
Okay.
But this one's a 14 because it came out of the essentially a commercial truck.
Right.
Yeah.
And then, so your whole bell housing is bigger too then?
Yeah, the whole bell housing's a lot bigger. Yeah.
So then the starter, it was hitting the diff, but no issues with the frame rail?
Nope. Frame rail's plenty wide enough. I could actually fit a 10-speed in there with the stock frame rail width.
Okay.
Yeah, so there's plenty of room. I would probably have run into an issue with running the exhaust though.
Okay.
Once you go that wide.
Yeah.
But with this transmission, as far as width go, you got plenty of room to run the exhaust.
Okay.
Oh yeah, lots of room on either side. Yeah.
And originally the solenoid on the starter was down, so you smash it off the diff and hit a good bump?
Yeah, so that's a second starter that I went through. The first starter was the starter that I pulled out of the truck that had this transmission, and that starter was already tired. Couple kisses from the diff and it just gave up on life. So then I put another starter in, the exact same one, which I probably shouldn't have done.
Yeah.
So that starter still hangs down, right? And then I had to go into the Delco Remy website, look through the part numbers, find the different clocking position of the starter. So
what was it? You remember the part numbers?
it was the starter's 28 MT. I can probably look and find the part number for you though. Yeah, I'll email it to you.
It's handy. Yeah, no, forget anybody that is thinking about doing it. Medium or large? I'll take a medium regular with milk, 2 medium double doubles, and a large 2 cream.
Anything else?
That's it.
795 coming up.
Thank you. They made your own transmission mount?
Yeah, so
very straightforward, well done, and torches that.
Yeah.
And then where does it line up? It still lines up kind of?
Yeah, so it lined up pretty well where the factory hole opening was.
Okay.
I think I had to, I don't know, yeah, there was a little bit of cutting that I had to do, but for the most part, everything kind of, just kind of sits where you need it to. So
it actually dings to tell you that you're lifting up on the cover.
No, it dings.
Thanks.
It's on the 180 horse over tune right now.
Okay.
So it's pretty. It gets out of its own way, but the clutch doesn't like it anymore.
No.
So what you're looking for is the dual disc clutch.
Okay.
Because any of the single disc clutch, they just can't take it. They're only rated for like 500 to 750 horsepower, depending.
Okay.
So the dual disc clutches, they're rated for upwards of, I've seen 1,100, 1,200 foot-pounds of torque.
Okay, and you're still talking with like going back to Freightliner and getting one for the Eaton, like a dual disc.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
and that's a pretty generic clutch, is it not?
yeah, they're just generic heavy-duty clutches, just a 14-inch dual disc clutch. Yeah,
Okay.
It's basically just called a 14-inch dual disc clutch. Yeah, it's, yeah, they're pretty straightforward, easy to order. So
do you know this transmission, what bell housing it is? It's an SAE number, right?
Yeah, this transmission is an SAE number 2 bell housing.
Okay.
So that's just the standard. It's just a size, so it's just a perfect circle,
Yep.
and then they get your measurements out of there. So an SAE number 1 bell housing is the biggest.
Okay.
Number 2 is typically used in medium duties.
Yep.
And then the number 3 bell housing, usually you see those in like power gen sets, or you'll see it on the back of a 4BT, like
Yeah.
on an industrial application, water pump, stuff like that.
Okay.
So, but if you get the number 1 clutch housing, you can fit a 15-inch clutch in there, but you're also running into issues of clearance, fabrication issues. The 6 speeds, I don't believe you can get them as a number 1 bell housing.
It doesn't want to downshift.
No?
No.
Do you want me to show you? Do you want me to show you how to drive? You've driven 18 speeds and stuff, probably.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, not legally, but
yeah, you know, you gotta like rev match and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Basically the same thing.
when you hit the clutch, it wants to keep going. Like
You gotta let off soon.
you gotta let off before you put the clutch in. Yeah,
let off the clutch in, it's a little bit of like you gotta kind of get used to it.
Yeah.
Because of the fact that it's so responsive. Like the tuner's set to be fairly aggressive. I think it's just because the smallest amount of throttle input gives you a fair bit. Right. So
if you didn't have a tune on it, probably wouldn't do it as bad.
Yeah. If I were to turn the tune down to, I would say like a more moderate, like if I was on more of a gentle towing tune, a little more drivable, but I like how you can just kind of roll into it and then there's 120 and you're passing people. Like, yeah.
It honestly feels like I'm doing like 80. This feels like 80. For everything done to the truck, like it still rides pretty decent. The steering's not all over the place.
It's a little loose, but
yeah, but it's not crazy. And what's the exhaust? 5-inch?
4-inch.
4-inch.
Yeah,
Okay.
so it's just a factory 3-inch downpipe and then 4-inch exhaust.
Okay.
You have no clutch left.
Sorry. I just wanted to do it.
Yeah, you gotta do it once.
Love the truck, love the drive. Would you do it again?
Yeah.
Or what would you change?
I would definitely go with an overdrive transmission to start with. Basically, I just had this I had the opportunity to get this transmission, so I thought, you know what, my automatic's hurting, so I needed to get it together with something. So I did it with the direct drive transmission. It's good and all if you know how to fabricate, and if you've got a fair bit of knowledge of heavy trucks. I would say most people would be able to figure out how to do it.
Okay, now you're a heavy equipment mechanic. You run your own business?
Yeah, heavy.
So you've got decent workspace, decent tools. So it still took you quite a bit to...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Took me about 4 or 5 months to get all the parts collected, figured out.
You've done all the digging. You've got the stock engine, which is
Common rail.
Common rail 5.9.
Yeah. Transmission adapter plate. It's off of Freightliner, medium duty truck.
So like an F80?
Like almost like an M2, like a really old M2.
Okay.
Freightliner M2. Transmission adapter, flywheel, clutch, transmission. All that stuff was out of the same truck, and it all bolted right up.
Okay, and you went with that one because the starter is on the driver's side.
Yeah, the starter's on the driver's side, which is the factory location for these, and then also the exhaust runs passenger side.
Okay, and the Eaton is a...
FS 5406A.
Longer?
The Eaton was actually shorter because this one had a 4x4 transfer case on it, and because I was just putting it together and needed to get the truck back going for work, I just ran it as a 2-wheel drive.
Okay.
So it was substantially shorter. Basically, I bolted the stock drive shaft in place, got my measurement from the hanger bearing, dropped it off at the drive shaft shop. They welded it up for me. There you go.
Okay.
Bolted it in.
You made that one work, but you would recommend the overdrive, and you're looking for an overdrive?
Yeah. I've got a local wrecker that I'm trying to source one from right now, but he's on vacation. So.
Okay. And you've got a body lift and a leveling kit on it.
Yeah, so 3.5-inch spacer for the coils in the front. That was so I could clear the starter because the starter location is pretty low on these heavy duty units. So I had to do the leveling kit to clear starter, and then the 2-inch body lift to actually fit the bell housing of the transmission unless you wanted to do a lot of hammering. So
Yeah, because it's substantially bigger.
Yeah, it's a little bigger. Yeah.
It's a little bigger.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got a Smarty on it?
Yeah, so I have a Smarty SO6. That's the technical term for it. I contacted Smarty, got them to send me a manual reflash. I reflashed the ECM as a manual, and then I put my tune back into it. So it's completely back to where it should be. One thing though, the transmission control module, it sits back there. You have to pull 2 of the plugs out of it. And then the dash won't tell you that your transmission temp's overheating and transmission errors, and you basically just unhook it from telling the ECM something's wrong.
Right. I did see a light telling me the 4-wheel drive was missing.
Yeah, it's
Speedo is rear axle, so you don't have to do anything. You basically just bolt it in, and that's it.
Bolted in, went away with it. Yeah.
Right on.
Other than a big air filter and straight pipe, it's completely stock.
We're having issues with the clutch, so the clutch is slipping.
Yeah, what I did was I brought the VIN number of the truck that I got the transmission out of to Freightliner because the original clutch started to slip on me. Brought the VIN number down to them, said, hey, I need a clutch for this truck. They actually had one in stock, surprisingly enough. So I grabbed that and just threw another stock one in it, and I've had it in there for probably about 3 months now, and it's starting to slip again. So I gotta go to a dual disc.
Yeah. And that's only, like, so if you're running stock tune, you'd probably be okay?
Stock tuning, you'd be all right for a while. I believe these stock, it's 305 horsepower and about 600 foot-pounds of torque. So technically you still are over the clutch rating of 540 foot-pounds. But one thing to consider is that because this came out of a medium-duty application, they rate them at 540 foot-pounds with X amount of weight behind it.
Oh, I see.
This truck weighs in and around probably 8,500, 9,000 pounds as it sits. So because of the fact that I'm under that like 40,000, 50,000 pound threshold that the clutch is rated for, it took a lot more abuse for a lot longer.
Dual disc.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at in the future. And then I'd also like to get the 4-wheel drive working in it again.
So you're gonna do divorce transfer case?
Probably.
Or, yeah.
More than likely divorce, just because of the simplicity of it. It's a lot easier to make a drive shaft than make like a new case to bolt the...
Another adapter plate and a longer output shaft and all that fun stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But if anybody knows of a 4-wheel drive drop down on the driver's side?
Driver's side.
Driver's side drop down on a Eaton that just bolts up, then comment down below.
I'd be very interested to see if somebody could find something.
Yeah,
that'd be interesting. Yeah.
All right, thank you very much, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
When you do get the overdrive, you got to come back.
Yeah.
And we'll go from there.
Yeah, I'll have to see if you can roast that clutch out of it for me as well.
It's not my fault. It's already garbage.